Okay, we'll begin. Thank you for joining me again. So this is the second class in a run of 5 classes on the concept in Patanjali Sutras of Sthira and Sukha. So last week, if you were in the class or caught up with it on YouTube, you'll know that that was all about Sthira, and Sthira meaning steadiness and strength, and some other ways it can be interpreted as well. So we explored the importance of strength, particularly inner body strength, to support our posture, and also just that idea that if you cultivate strength to an appropriate degree, not muscle shortening gym strength, it makes you feel just a little bit more steady, powerful, builds confidence as well. There's nothing really worse than that sense of your physical strength ebbing away. So as I said last week, for me, yoga should be around about 50% strength and flexibility, but the strength work can be really, really gentle. So this week we're going to focus a little bit more on the other side of things, on sukha, on softness, and a bit like if you're baking a cake or making bread, if the dough or the cake mix is too stiff, it's just not going to rise. So it's a bit like that. If it's too stodgy, too heavy, too much sthira in the mix of our yoga practice, then we're not going to feel lightness and space in our body and in our breath and in our minds. So we're always looking for this dynamic interplay between strength, sthira and sukha, strength and softness, steadiness and ease. So we'll primarily explore that tonight with trying to feel a sense of ease when we're in the postures that we do. And of course, our main tool for creating that softness is going to be the breath. So I'm going to lead you into the class with a breathing technique, which just could be the most important breathing technique I ever teach you, at least until next week's class. So I have mentioned to one or two of you that I am doing a breathing course at the moment. So I'm learning to be a Buteyko breathing coach. It's not part of yoga, but it's very, very relevant to yoga practice. And Buteyko was a Ukrainian doctor who noticed the relationship between how his patients breathed and how well they recovered or didn't recover from various conditions. So he developed some breathing practices that are very, very evidence-based. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the practice when we've had a little go at it. So if you'd like to just come into a comfortable position where the spine is upright, the head is stacked over the heart over the center of the pelvis, and that might just mean engaging with the lumbar curve, the lower back curve, feeling that stacking. And when you feel that stacking, you can literally relax the shoulders, relax the arms, and feel that the spine is like central channel running right up the center of the body. And if you're happy to close the eyes, closing the eyes, or just have the eyes with a soft downcast gaze if you'd rather keep them open. And take a moment or two to notice all the sensations in your body. Notice the points of contact between your body and the chair and the floor. The hands resting wherever they're resting, on the knees, on the thighs. Notice how your outer body feels, the big muscles of the outer body, the big joints of the outer body. And then notice what you sense inside your body. How well you're feeling this evening, this week. Or if you're not feeling completely 100%, you're feeling tired or energized, doesn't matter, just find that awareness of how you feel right now. And then allow the body to come into a little bit of steadiness with ease, and allow yourself to focus exclusively on the breath. And we're breathing in and out through the nostrils unless the nose is blocked. Just breathe in your own natural rhythm, noticing that rhythm, noticing everything about your breath, the smoothness or the unevenness, the place in the body you feel the breath as it enters. Is it the chest? Is it lower down in the lower ribs and the abdomen? Is there any tightness in the breath? Or does everything feel soft and yielding as you breathe in? And is your exhale able to be effortless? And what we're going to do now is just begin to make this breath just a little softer and a little more subtle. And you're going to know when you are in the sweet spot. Because if you make the breath too soft and too subtle, your body will begin to tell you that you're under breathing, that you feel you have that sensation you're not getting enough air, and that will immediately create a little bit of tension in the body and the mind. However, there's usually quite a bit of leeway to just soften the breath down, to concentrate on the smoothness and flow, to make the breath just a little bit more subtle. And as you do that, I would like to invite you to really allow the abdomen to soften, so that when you feel yourself breathing in, you can feel yourself breathing deep into the lower third of the lungs. You're using your diaphragm, and you're using less of the muscles of the rib cage. So this breath is light, it's slow, it's easeful, but it's still deep. The breath is still coming all the way down to the base of the lungs and exiting through the nose in a smooth and easy manner. Keep going with your breath for a few more breaths. And as you're breathing, reflect on what you are sensing in your own breath. Have you been able to just bring it down a little? Possibly feeling that you are not breathing as deeply as usual, not breathing as shallowly as usual. And although we are breathing through the nose, it's just a really subtle sense of drawing that breath in. Perhaps like drawing in the perfume of a beautiful flower. And just two more things to notice about the breath. Is your exhalation naturally just a tiny bit longer than your inhalation? It's often 1 to 1.5 times longer. And at the end of your exhalation, before you breathe in, do you notice just a moment of stillness where the exhale is allowed to complete, to die away, and then the new breath comes in? Very good. And then we'll end that practice there. So if you've been working with the eyes closed, blink, open the eyes. So we'll start moving in a second. Some of you may feel a little bit soporific and sleepy at this point, and that practice is one that's highly recommended as a kind of sleep hygiene, as it's called, pre-bedtime routine, for anyone who finds it hard to drop off to sleep with an overactive mind. So feel free to use it for that purpose. It's not ideal preparation for physical activity, but then we're going to crank up the breath in a moment, bring a bit of Sthira back into it, and that will get us moving. What I just wanted to share with you before we move on is that one of the principles of this breathing practice is based on the fact that a lot of people overbreathe. And this is just something to reflect on, perhaps in between classes, maybe have a sit down and do your breathing. So if you found that when you were trying to breathe like that every so often, your body just really wanted to go, or you felt like yawning, or you felt like sighing, these are all indicators that that the body has a very low tolerance to carbon dioxide. So as we lighten the breath, carbon dioxide creeps up a little bit in the blood, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a very good thing, because you need the right balance of CO2 in the blood to enable oxygen to release to the cells of the body. But if you become too sensitive to carbon dioxide, then the tendency is to feel that rising CO2, and even though it's just coming up to normal, to want to overbreathe and deplete it again. So this practice is used to rebalance the breath, to rebalance the delicate oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the breath that's breathed into the lungs, and the levels of those two gases in the blood, and to keep them at normal range. And that's really important. And for those of you who know a little bit of physiology, you'll know that as more CO2 accumulates in the body, so if you hold your breath, then the body becomes a little bit more acidic, and as those CO2 levels deplete, the body becomes a little more alkaline. And I really hope I've got that the right way around. I think so. Okay, so enough about that, but you know, maybe drop me an email if you feel that, oh yeah, that is me, I'm always over breathing, and maybe at night it could be quite a lot of sighing and holding the breath, and that's something we can look at, and I will be offering some Buteyko breathing classes in the near future. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just let the arms hang, give the arms a shake, give the hands a shake, release any tension in the arms, in the wrists, in the fingers. Try to let the shoulders feel heavy. If the shoulders are at all rotating forwards, just draw them back and let them hang. Feel like the shoulder blades are just sliding down the back a little. And then from here, we'll breathe in, and we'll just leave the arms hanging as we take the shoulders forwards and up as we breathe in, and back and down as we breathe out. So inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Do that a couple more times, maybe once more in this direction, and then once more reversing the direction. And then still letting the arms hang, breathing in and drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and drawing the neck and the head down into the body. And then on an exhale, try to make the neck as long as possible and draw the shoulders down the back. So actually using some muscles in the back to pull the shoulders down. It's a bit like a Sthira, very active shoulder release, drawing them down, and then soften them once more. Take the palms out, bend the elbows, fingertips anywhere near the top of the arm or the shoulder. And breathing in, again, half a breath for half a circle. Sorry, an inhale for half a circle. Exhale for the second half of the circle. So we are increasing the rhythm of breath, the depth of our breath a little as we move into our physical practice, but still mindful of that Sthira-Sukha balance. So you've probably met people or know people who have a really noisy breath, a real... I certainly used to get a lot of students like that in my Ashtanga class, where it's very dynamic. And that is really a bit of a disaster. So when the breath becomes that labored and that audible, it's usually a sign of something has gone awry. So when we deepen the breath, we still want to not make a lot of noise, and we still want to feel all those qualities of flow and smoothness. Okay, let's bring the palms together in front of the chest and inhale. And we'll do just a little bit of a extended inhale here. So we'll take the arms all the way to straight, draw the arms back, squeeze the shoulder blades together within your pain-free range of movement. And as you're ready to exhale, release back into softness. So let's say the in-breath move is quite Sthira, is quite strong, stretchy, arm muscles engaged, front of the chest stretching. Exhale. Shoulders relax, hands relax, wrists relax. 2 or 3 more in your own time. And at the end of the next one, drop the arms down and give them another shake, softening the shoulders, softening the arms. Turn the palms outwards. As you turn the palms outwards, don't leave the shoulders behind. So it's not just a rotation there, it's a rotation right up to the shoulders. So the shoulders are creeping back as you do that. And then inhaling, floating the arms up. And again, just go as far as you can, particularly if you've got any shoulder issues. But for this week, we're going to use the inhale as a little bit of Sthira, so you can stretch right up, turn the palms, and exhale. Float the arms down into softness, into Sukha. And then the Sthira breath, inhale, floating up. And the last bit of inhale, reaching, active stretch. Exhale. Release down. Let's do 2 more with your own breath. And at the end of the next exhale, again, soften, release, give the arms a little shake. So that reaching up will have just helped to lengthen the spine. We're going to go into a twist now. It'll be a dynamic twist. I'll just demonstrate one. It's just a slight variation on stuff we've done before. So we're going to breathe into cactus arms, also still reaching up. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to turn the shoulders one way, clockwise, the head the other way, anti-clockwise. And then as you breathe in, bring the head and shoulders back to center, and then exhale to the other side. So just begin to move in that way, following your own breath. So always twisting on the exhale, coming back to center and lengthening up on the inhale. And if we embed the intention of our theme into this practice, this inhale will be quite active, pulling the tummy in, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And then as we exhale, maintain that length, but really softening the body into the twist. Particularly the neck will enjoy that. Nobody likes to try and force the head around. So again, I'd like you to just to do a few of these following your own breath. Trying to keep those twin qualities of inhale and exhale, steadiness and ease. And breathing enough to nourish the body in this dynamic movement. But if you already think you might be an overbreather, and there are many of us around, then just have the breath still on the light side. As long as you don't sense breathlessness, that's absolutely fine. And then the next time you have twisted the shoulders to the left, inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take the hands onto the thighs and folding forwards. Tuck the chin in, let the weight of the head hang forward so the crown of the head is pointing forwards and down, lengthening out the back of the neck and just giving the spine and the muscles of twisting a little bit of time to recover. Very nice. And then breathing in, sitting up, give the arms a little shake. So our last one, we're going to take the spine in just a little bit more of a back bend. We'll just do 3 of these. So as you breathe in, coming into this cactus arms position, but working just that tiny bit harder to really draw the upper chest through and beyond the forearms. You don't really need to lift the arms very high here or even lower, particularly if you've got any shoulder issues. And then as you exhale, kind of going the other way, taking the hands down and softening over the thighs again. So we'll do 3 of those, and at the end of the 3rd one, we'll hold the forward bend. When you rise up, coming up with a nice flat back. And then round about now, you're probably going into your 3rd forward fold. So just holding that. So you might want to keep the hands up on the thighs, or you might want to let the arms hang down either side of the knees. Some of you are a little bit more flexible, and you can take the knees a little bit wider if anything's getting in the way of your forward fold. You can just allow the ribs to come all the way down onto the front of the thighs. And again, let the head hang. And in this position, in the forward folded position, just feel like you're rooting back towards the chair through the sit bones and the tailbone and extending forward through the crown of the head. So the sensation of spaciousness and ease and softness coming into the spine, but particularly into that lower back area. Lovely, well done. So we're going to come up now. So bring the head, flatten the back, come all the way up. Give the shoulders a little shake. And then if you're staying in the chair, just remain where you are. If you're coming down onto the mat, feel free to do that now. And just take a moment to draw the knees in over the chest. If you are lying on the mat, and take a little rock from side to side, holding the shins or the back of the thighs. And you can keep the head still, or you can just gently rock and roll the head the opposite way to the knees. And for those working from the chair, this is where we're going to do our upper body rotation in 2 directions. And then if you are lying down, take both feet flat on the mat and then draw the right knee in. And if you're in a chair, just lift the right knee and you can hold the thigh, or you can hold the shin, or you could put a belt around the shin if you needed to. So we're going to breathe in with the arms straight, and we're going to breathe out and draw the thigh in. So this is quite a subtle practice. So we can use quite a soft breath here, quite a light breath, quite a Sukha breath. Inhale, arms straight, exhale, drawing the right thigh in. If you have the flexibility and the experience and you want to work a little more strongly on the mat, slide the left leg straight and make the left leg really quite active. Push the heel away, draw the toes back. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale. So as you work with that practice for a few more breaths on the right side, can you find that Sukha breath, and can you find that slightly longer exhale and allow that exhale to complete into a moment of stillness before the next in-breath arises. On the next inhale, just release that right foot down, bring in the left leg. Again, working with this right knee bent or straight if you did that on the other side. And work the left leg in exactly the same way. Coming in on the exhale. It's better to do 3 or 4 of these slowly, mindfully, with complete combination of breath and movement, rather than trying to get in more repetitions. Remember, this physical practice is really a gateway to a changed state of mind, changed state of body. And it's just much more effective when done slowly and mindfully and with the breath. Lovely. So next time you exhale, release the left leg down. If you're lying on the mat, just slide both legs straight now. Give the legs a little bounce up and down. If you're in a chair, you can do the same. Just stretch the heels away. Rock the feet from side to side, which is a nice little bit of hip opening anyway, and jiggle the knees up and down. That will help to get the blood running up through the legs. So we're going to do just a little bit on the hips now. So if you're lying on the mat, you can bring both knees in over the chest and work both hip joints at the same time, creating big, wide circles. And again, keeping them really slow. Inhale for half a circle And then slow down the rotation for that slightly longer out breath. And momentary pause. The hips really respond well to having a little bit of time and space and softness in which to release into. You often see beginner students doing this in this pose, and it's really not gonna help them to release the hips. They need to soften, slow down, and then the knees begin to go a little bit wider. You begin to feel the sukha, the softness coming into the hips. They're beginning to yield that little bit of range of movement that may have depleted over time. So if you're in the chair, moving onto the left leg, if you're lying down, maybe changing the direction of the circles now. If you're going this way, just take it around in the other direction. And then next time you've completed the circle, if you're in a chair, just rocking the hips from side to side. And if you're on the mat, bring the knees in, take a little rock from side to side. Then we're going to take the feet down onto the mat, and we're going to breathe in, taking the arms overhead, and finish this inhale with a really strong stretch, spreading the fingers, lengthening through the whole of the spine. And you can allow the lumbar spine, the lower back, just to arch a little. So this is a bit of a back bend position. And then as you exhale, we're bringing the arms back, but we're going to place the palms on the abdomen and finish that exhale by drawing in the tummy muscles. Inhale, arms overhead, and stretch. Longer exhale, draw the tummy in and pause. If you've got any medical reason not to draw the tummy in, then just focus on placing the hands softly on the abdomen and see if you can draw up the base of the pelvis, the pelvic floor instead. Actually the same in the chair. And then we'll just do one more of those. And from here, we'll take one more twist. So we've already done a dynamic twist. So we're going to come into a more static held twist. So if you have the space and you're on the mat, you're going to slide the arms away at shoulder height. And this time we don't want any lumbar curve. So we're going to slightly tuck the tailbone under and use a lighter, almost like a balance of Sthira-Sukha in the abdominal muscles, just enough light drawing in to keep the lower back flat on the floor. For a nice easy twist, have the feet on the floor, knees and feet hip width apart. For a slightly stronger twist, knees and feet together. And only for those who regularly practice strong twists, you can bring the knees in over the chest. But if you do that, you're going to drop the feet down when you get into your twisting position. Okay, so we are taking the knees over to the right, and when they're in position, we're going to roll the head the opposite way to the left and just hold that twisting position. For those on the chair, you can do exactly the same. You can bring the hands up to lengthen up if that helps, twist to the right and turn the head the opposite way. And for those of you who enjoy doing this twist holding the back of the chair, you can sit sideways on the chair, grab the back, and that will just give you that little bit of extra leverage to deepen the twist. But just be a little bit careful you don't overdo the pulling with the arms. Take a moment in this held twist to reconnect with the breath. There's always a little bit of inhibition, a loss of space, particularly for the abdominal breath in twisting postures. So you might notice that even with your best intention and focus on that light, smooth breath, that is a little bit more up in the chest when you are in a held twist, and that's absolutely fine. It's very efficient that we can breathe down here and out here and right up to the top with the collarbones lifting as well. So on the next inhale, gently release from the twist. If you're in a chair, just take a little counter pose before we do the other side by folding forwards. If you're on the mat, draw the knees in over the chest. And then when you're ready, do the same foot position, taking the knees over to the left this time, rolling the head to the right, extending the arms out, but keeping the shoulders back and down. Focus on your breath, and whatever breath quality you're able to achieve, allow the exhale to have that additional softening sukha quality so that you feel yourself gently softening into the twist. Even if you don't actually experience any physical movement, you can feel that softening through the length of the spine, particularly through the middle part of the spine up to the base of the neck. Lovely, well done. So we will release from that on the next inhale, take our counter pose, folding forward in the chair, hugging the knees in if you are on the mat. And we're going to just explore a little bit of strengthening of some of the Sthira work we did last week, but to try and then overlay that with the intention of softening it a little. So the way we'll do this, if you're working from the mat, you're just going to slide away anything that you had under the back of the head so that the back of the head and the shoulders become a platform for this posture, and the feet is the other end of the foundation. And if you're not comfortable in this at all, the place to put a blanket is under the shoulders, but not under the head. So this is where we're going to end up. We're going to end up with the hips just hovering about 6 inches off the mat, and we're going to hold this position and try to really follow the breath, notice the breath, and notice the fact the breath is working quite hard. Maybe just have a little feel. If you want to just come up briefly, I'm going to talk you into it in a second. You can feel with your fingertips, there's a lot of engagement through the muscles of the torso to support this position, because there's quite a lot of the body off the mat, and it's just being held at either end by the shoulders and the feet. And when we are holding this, as soon as it gets too much or you've had enough, you're just going to roll the spine down from the top to the tail and draw the knees in and rest. So if you're still up, just release down. That was just a little dry run, and then we're going to have a go at doing that now. If the feet are a little bit closer to the pelvis, it's going to make it stronger, because there will be an opportunity to go a little bit higher, and by the same token, you could take the feet a little bit further away if you needed to. Don't feel any pressure on the knees. And the feet are nice and neutral. So if you have a little peer around, the outer edges of the feet are going straight down towards the end of the mat. The feet aren't turned out. Place the hands on the abdomen, and as you exhale, make that little engagement. Feel the lower back flattening against the floor. Release the hands back down onto the mat, palms down, and try to do a couple of breaths here, maintaining stillness in the lower abdomen. Still breathing light, smoothly, deeply into the base of the lungs, but not allowing the tummy to go really soft in this breath, because we're going to engage the muscles there. And then on an inhale, when you're ready, pressing into the feet and trying to feel a sense of lightness in the pelvis. So it's just coming up, that's 6 inches. And here you're going to breathe lightly and steadily with as much sukha in the breath as possible. So from the chair, sliding the hands towards the knees, slightly rounding the back, and then breathing in and drawing the hands up towards the hips and opening up into a very similar spinal position. And when you're working in a chair, just have to be a little more active in engaging the muscles around the shoulders and in the back and stretching the front of the body, because you don't have that relationship with gravity to really work the front thigh muscles, the quads, and you're not getting as much engagement through the core. So keeping the tummy muscles drawn in as well. And then breathing steadily with all of that going on. So if you are still in the floated up position, use the next exhale to release down, draw the knees in, take a little rock from side to side. If you're in the chair, release into that slightly curved, soft spine position. And then we're going to do one more. So this is an opportunity to go a little bit higher if you wanted to, but enter the pose in the same way. Exhale, lower back flat, hands on the mat, shoulders back and down, breathing in, sense of lightness in the pelvis, but just keeping that movement going. And if you are coming up quite high this time, a slight intention of feeling that you're trying to rotate the thighs inwardly towards each other will activate the legs in the right way and provide a little bit more support for this position. Working in the same way in the chair again. Activating the muscles, but breathing steadily, keeping the abdomen drawing in. You're still working, just a couple more breaths in this Dvipadapitham pose. And then when you're ready, a really long exhale to roll the spine down. And when the back of the pelvis is on the mat, draw the knees in, take a little rock from side to side. Lovely. And if you're working in the chair, just softly folding over the thighs. And then bring back that crucial support for the back of the head. Giving space to the back of the neck, keeping the forehead level with or slightly higher than the chin. So we're going to use the belt now for the hamstring stretch. It's a now familiar one to you, but just overlaying this week with this extra intention to use the soft, light sukha breath to find as much release in any tightness we feel in this back of the thigh muscle when we straighten the leg as possible. So before you begin, make sure you've got plenty of belt between you and the right foot. Draw the shoulders back and down so the elbows are going to be quite close to the mat. And then as you breathe in, plenty of bend in the right leg. And as you breathe out, beginning to explore the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, if possible, that slightly longer exhale. A moment of pause at the end in the stretch. Inhale initiates the knee bend. keep working on that right leg. I'm going to do about half a dozen of these this week, exactly the same in the chair. People in the chair weren't working as hard in the last practice, but you get to work harder than those on the mat in this one. So if you do get tired, just release the leg and take some rest. Otherwise, exactly the same. Inhale and exhale. You want that length all the way along the leg. If you do happen to be a little bit hypermobile in the knees, then you're not going to take the leg beyond straight. So you don't want it to begin bending in the wrong direction. That will stretch the back of the knee, the ligaments there, rather than the muscle that we are targeting. Then on the next exhale, we're going to move into holding the stretch in this right leg for up to 5 more breaths. Inhale, just that little bit of sthira. Exhale, as much sukha, sweetness, softness, ease that you can muster to allow that right leg to lengthen, soften, and become supple and spacious. In the next breath or so, bending that right leg in, release the leg back down to the floor. Take a moment to notice the sensations in the right leg, compare it to the left leg. And then take the belt around the left foot and begin to work in exactly the same way. Just going to give less instruction through this left side, allow you to really experience this practice with your breath. On the next exhale, moving into the static stretch. From the outside it looks static, but from the inside, every breath you take, every out breath you release is having an effect at a very microscopic level in terms of releasing the back of this left leg. And then breathing in, bend the left leg, release. Take a moment, compare the legs. And then if you're lying on the mat, you might want to hug the knees in, just rock from side to side. And if you're in the chair, use the arms to support and do a little bit of circling. Do whatever you need to do just to feel back in your body and feel a sense of ease there. So the next practice is a little bit of back strengthening. If you're working on the mat and you're happy to lie on your front, then roll over and either make a pillow with your hands, so you're resting the forehead on the back of the hands, or you can use a yoga block to rest the forehead there, just to lift the face away from the floor. Otherwise you're looking straight down. And if you're in a chair, you're going to come forwards, and you can either rest the hands on the thighs with the elbows out to the side, or if you want to come a little bit deeper, you can rest the elbows and a little bit of the forearms on the thighs. So what we're going to do is strengthen the back. So this is the chair practice, is to inhale and exhale. The idea is to keep the spinal muscles engaged, and as you raise the body up on an inhale, they're working against gravity to lift the torso up, and that is the back strengthening. For those working from the floor, going to do a very similar thing. If you can take the arms back behind you, that's fine. If you prefer to keep them forward for support, that's also fine. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. So feel as if you are lifting the front of the chest away from the mat, and you're not going to move the head at all. You're going to keep the head absolutely neutral, the back of the neck following the line of the spine. So we're not lifting the head to look forwards, keeping the gaze down. Inhale up, exhale down. Just keep going with that. And when you've done 5 or 6, so people in the chair, when you finished your last one, you would just fold the arms and soften forwards into a kind of pose of the child. And those lying on the front, on the next exhale, say, releasing down, and then use the hands, bring them forward, push back, and take pose of the child in this way. Lovely. So we're going to move on now to a little bit of cat. And again, many of you are getting very used to the options here. So there's traditional cat, but with the knees padded and the hands in front of the shoulders rather than underneath. Following the inhale, nice soft exhale, arching the back up, creating space in the spine. Knowing that you can also do this pose using either the seat of the chair to support you or the back of the chair. And if you're remaining in the chair, it's just a more flowing, dynamic movement of the spine, similar to the back bend we did earlier. Try to feel that the breath has a little bit of a nice balance between Sthira and Sukha. The inhale is creating the energy for the movement, for the back bend, a little bit of weight bearing as well, quite a few muscles involved, particularly in the arms and the shoulders. But the exhale is softening. The breath is softening, but the particular softening we really want to feel is in the spine, as much undulation, and allowing any stiffness in the spine to dissipate. Cat is an amazing practice to maintain overall spinal mobility. Very nice. And then make the next exhale the last one in the cat. If you're on the mat, take pose of the child. If you've stood up, just come up to standing if you've been using the back of the chair, and just sit up if you are in the chair. So our last practice before doing a few sun salutations and then a little bit of hip opening and balancing, and then we're done, is to do a downward dog. So again, if you're in the chair, it's both arms up and one leg straight, but you're going to work dynamically with your dog, inhaling and exhaling. If you did the cat from standing, Come back to the back of the chair, but this time find your static long dog, keeping the knees slightly flexed, slightly bent to flatten the back. And if you're preferring working from the mat, coming up into the downward dog and just using the exhale to ease into the space that you've already created in the back of those legs. So it should feel like you're quite well prepared for this pose. Any medical reason not to take the head below the heart, please use the back of the head or the back of the chair or the chair version. Lovely. So those doing the dog on the mat, take the knees down, take pose of the child one last time. If you've been working the back of the chair, just walk the feet in, come up to standing. And if you're in the chair, just coming back to neutral. And then we're going to come to our sun salutations, either standing or sitting. So if you're still in pose of the child, gently unwind from that, make your way up to standing with the feet hip width apart. Maybe give the shoulders a little lift and roll after all that wonderful weight bearing work. Give the arms a little shake. Just rock forward and backwards on the heels, lifting the toes, lifting the heels, awakening the feet, and then plant both feet, really root them down into the ground. And inhale, roll the shoulders back, turn the palms out, sweep the arms up. And exhale, draw the hands down through the midline. This time lifting the toes, doesn't matter whether you're seated or standing for this. Lift the toes, keep the heels down, exhale, arms down, toes down. Little trickier, so if you need to be near a chair or a wall, as the arms go up, the heels hover, exhale, the heels release down. So alternate breaths, toes on one breath, heels on the other for a few more rounds, with the arms reflecting your lovely, steady, mainly Sukha, soft breath. Let's do one more round. And then release the hands. So just 2 rounds of sun salutations. Breathing in, bring the palms forward, draw the shoulders back. Breathing out, bending the knees, folding forwards, and coming as far forward as you comfortably would like to. Tuck the chin in. Inhale, flatten the back, hobble the hands if you want a little stronger practice. Nice long exhale, release into the forward bend. You can straighten the legs a bit here to take that stretch. Bend the knees flat back, inhale, coming up. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, side stretch. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart. Doing one more in your own time, led by your own breath. And when you've completed that second sun salutation, take a moment to notice how you feel. And then we're going to do just a little hip open. I'm going to show you the chair version first. So we'll just take the left foot a little bit wider, and the right foot is coming as far out really as the chair will allow. And the knee and the foot are going in the same direction. And then what we're going to do is just turn slightly so the right shoulder is now mirroring the angle of this right leg, and taking the forearm down, and the back of the left hand just tuck on the lower back, and we're opening up into what is a bit of a side stretch, and hopefully you're feeling the hip opening on that right side. So working there, if you're in a chair, the standing version of that is just to take the feet a little bit wider, bend the right knee. Remember, we never turn the foot out the whole 90 degrees, just find a nice angle here. Knee is over the ankle, knee is tracking the toes. And you might be working with the arm straight and the back of the hand here, or you might find you can come all the way down to the forearm on that bent right leg. If you're doing that, make sure this isn't happening, that you're collapsing the spine into a curve. So you need enough movement in the hip there to keep the spine straight. This is absolutely fine. If you wanted to, you could take this left arm up and even turn it and stretch all along the left side of the body. Find your breath. Release from this anytime you need to. Otherwise, if you're okay, we're going to take 2 more breaths. And then exhale, release the arm, take the gaze down, push into the right foot coming up. Turn the foot in, heel and toe, step the legs together, give the legs a little shake. And then moving on to the other side. Working in the chair, you're just taking the left foot out now and reaching over and working here. And if you are working from standing, this time keeping the right foot exactly where it is, turning, opening the left hip, knee tracks toes, knee over ankle, straight arm or bent forearm, spine is long, back of the hand on the lower back, and breathe. Find the nourishing, dynamic stir of the in-breath. Soften a little during that long exhale and moment of pause. When you're ready to release, drop the high arm down in front, look down, push into the left foot, turn the foot in, heel and toe, step the legs together, give the legs a little shake. And now you're ready to come into our closing inversion before relaxation. So this is the time to grab any additional layers or socks. Yoga block under the hips, lower legs resting on the chair, blanket under the head, and relax. Those remaining in the chair, if you've got a footstool or another chair, that would be ideal. Give yourself that experience of inverting the legs and the restfulness that that provides. And then in the next breath or two, gently releasing from the inversion and coming into whichever relaxation pose is comfortable for you. Lying on your back, legs straight, knees bent. Lying on your side if you need to. You're staying in the chair. Unless you've got a really well supported chair with sides, then use the relaxation more as a guided meditation, staying awake for your own safety. When you are in a comfortable position, allow the eyes to close or have a soft gaze up to the ceiling or forward and down if you're in a chair. Take a moment to notice how you feel in your body. Notice the quality of your breath. And in this relaxation, we're going to do the, on the face of it, very simple thing of just inviting as much sukha, as much softness into the body as possible. We're not going to do that by moving the body at all. So if you get uncomfortable, just wriggle or move, that's fine. But otherwise, just using our focus of our mind and the softness of our breath to invite each part of the body to soften a little bit more. So allow the mind to focus on the right foot. And as you focus on the right foot and exhale, allow a sensation of softening, of ease to come into the right foot. Move your awareness up the right leg, taking in the whole of the right foot and the lower right leg up to the knee. And as you exhale, invite in softness and ease. Awareness to the whole of the right leg, all the way up to the right hip. Exhale, softness and ease. The whole of your right leg is relaxing, is softening. Allow yourself to completely release the right leg. Take your awareness to the left foot and exhale softness and ease. Awareness to the left leg up to the left knee. Exhale softness and ease. Awareness to the whole of the left leg up to the left hip. Exhale, softness and ease. Notice the whole of your left leg, and the whole of your left leg is becoming soft and released. Awareness to the right hand. Exhale, softness and release. Awareness to the right arm, hand and forearm up to the elbow. Exhale, softness and ease. Awareness to the whole of the right arm, right up to the right shoulder. Exhale, softness and ease. Awareness to the left hand. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the left arm up to the left elbow. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the whole of the left arm and left shoulder. Exhale, soften and release. The arms are feeling soft. The arms are feeling released. Allow your arms to be as soft and relaxed as you can. Awareness to the hips. Exhale, softness and release. Awareness to the abdomen and the lower back. And exhale, softness and release. Awareness to the chest, the collarbones, the tops of the shoulders. Exhale, softness and release. Awareness to the neck, the head and the face. Exhale, softness and release. Be aware of the whole of your body, right leg, left leg, right arm, left arm, hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, neck, and head. And as you exhale, allow the whole of your body to sink a little deeper into softness, ease, space, release. Allow your breath to deepen. Reconnect with your body. Move the fingers, wriggle the toes, stretch into your arms and legs in any way that feels good. And then when you're ready, coming back up to sitting. That can be on a chair, on the mat. It's bringing the spine back up to neutral. We're going to close the class with just a few more of the light breathing that we did at the beginning, with a slight variation, which some people find helpful. So when you're in position for your breathing, either close the eyes or have a soft downcast gaze. Make sure the feet are really well connected to the floor if you're in a chair. Focus on your breath. Begin to find that soft, light breath flowing in through the nose and out through the nose. This time focusing a little bit more on the sensation in the nostrils, the sensation of cool air coming into the nose and warm air exiting the nose. And as we focus on the sensations in the nostrils, we can begin to reduce the breathing, to soften the breathing into more of a sukha breath. By feeling that flow of the in-breath a little more lightly in the nostrils. Feeling that warmth of the exhale a little more lightly in the nostrils. Allow the mind to remain absorbed in the breath, focusing on the sensations in the nostrils. And if the mind wanders, gently bring it back to that point of focus. And then at the end of the next exhale, just let that practice go. Allow your breath to return to its own natural rhythm. Notice exactly how you feel in your body. Notice the activity, the steadiness or otherwise of the mind. And when you're ready, if you've been working with the eyes closed, blink, open the eyes. And thanks again for joining me for the class.